Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is Pixelriffs, our writer is LoyXP, captions on this video were provided by Liara. And now the Hermitcraft postal system has connected all but a few of the hermits, it's about time we reminded you to make sure you're subscribed to this channel so YouTube can post you the latest recap videos when they arrive. And we won't even send you mail assuming you're a horse, goat horns, flirtatious notes, or reminders about your car's extended warranty. You're welcome. All of that is happening on the Hermitcraft server though, so let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that have been mailed to us this week. Starting with DocM77, who has to contend with the fact that Cubfan has finally built something that puts the big wood hourglass in proportion.
Really, Cub, you're challenging me to add some more stuff to the thing?
So in true Doc fashion, he pops off, building an automated dark oak farm that involves entombing a llama in Podzol and building one of the most dense and complex redstone devices you'll see in your lifetime.
Oh, ooh, we pulled it off, dude, the relief. This is the highest difficulty of tree farming.
Despite everything that could go wrong, the only technical hiccup is that the shulker box unloader didn't work first time, but once it's firing on all cylinders, it's filling a chest with shulker boxes every 20 minutes or so. Doc suggests it has the capacity to make 160,000 logs per hour, which means they have enough to stock the big wood shop for its grand opening and the accompanying grand fireworks display.
Doc announced free wood for everybody.
There we go.
There we go.
The Big Wood Commission, along with a few personal requests, pushes Cubfan135 firmly over the 1,000 diamonds earned, launching his fireworks shop literally into the sky.
But this thing is about to take off. This is very exciting. Oh snap, look at this. We got ourselves a firework that has launched, ladies and gentlemen.
To depict the explosion of the oversized rocket, Cub builds two noise map spheres that mimic a real firework you can craft. Another cool application of the smaller rockets is the set Gemini Tay commissions for her base, a simple spark to imitate electricity blowing on the power lines across her side of the Magic Mountain.
576 fireworks, codename Electric Sparks, and she owes us 4 diamonds.
Since people keep showing up to her place to fight, Gem figures an actual PvP arena is in order. And so, through the conspicuous sewer pipe, one can discover the secret Riptide fencing area. And you better appreciate the Water Headbutting Club, given how long it took Gem to get Riptide 1 applied to all the tridents.
No, don't all go in there. Stop. Why?
Riptide 1!
You got
Dude,
it?
I did it!
Really?
I did it!
Rendog, to his own surprise, proves quite adept at both Trident PvP and talking villagers into trading obscure levels of Riptide. Perhaps the villagers respect a man who will sell all his diorite to another guy who burns it.
It's supply and demand, you know, inflation, etc. This country.
With his economic future thus secured, Ren sets up the command center at his Gigacorp space base, complete with a map of the area he commands and conquers, some categorized shulkerbox storage, and the mailbox he can use to continue correspondence with horses and send False Symmetry some alien bonsai.
I suppose there's only one way to test whether or not I have broken the mailbox or not, right? Let's send someone something.
He has to mail himself over to Iskal85, who needs help road testing the Mission Possible building after making some upgrades to the mission token redemption process. Ren approves, since anything would be an improvement on a stone block with a lectern on it, but suggests the token reward room needs a bit more pizzazz. So Iskal gets to work on any interior decorations that don't break his on-the-fly redstone, and just to commit fully to this building now, he TNTs the old platform with Rendog's help. Which of course means he has plausible deniability for blowing up part of the Gigacorp wall.
I regret everything.
The residual explosives Iskal evidently mailed to Zedaf, who has an even weirder use for the stuff. In a spiritual sequel to that time Zedaf and Vintage Beef went mining with only dynamite, Zedaf and Vintage Beef go end raiding using only dynamite. The trouble of course is that to take care of the shulkers, the two end up violently disassembling the very structure they are trying to climb. Much fall damage is had, many Zedafs have been harmed in the production of this video.
Oh, you're flanked. This is the dumbest thing ever. Okay, hold on.
The plot twist, of course, is Zedaf finding out that Vintage Beef has been in charge of the shulkerbox shop this entire time, permit and shulker farm and all. Which brings us to the mystery shulkers Beef discovered in a salmon-filled cave at the end of his last video. Inside he finds the entire collection of Hermitcraft TCG cards, including several that only went to print after Season 9 was complete. While he explains he doesn't plan to focus on TCG for the rest of this season, he does want to add Smallish Beans and Skizzleman into the mix, find new ways to distribute cards, run a few tournaments further down the line, and develop a new way to play the game on the go, so we can look forward to more cardboard slinging at a later date.
Prepare yourself. This is something you will never expect.
Ooh.
Right?
Hey, this guy's handsome.
For now, XP Crafted receives his entire card line as a thank you for noticing Beef had left a full shulker box of shulker shells for sale at his shop. So we probably have XP to thank for saving the server from an economic crash. Beef has to find him out in the Bergs as XP begins work on his main base area for the season, revisiting the golden age of Guardian wrangling as a throwback to his Season 3 Ocean Monument base. The twist is that this one is in a frozen ocean biome, which means XP has to mine over 30,000 packed ice before he can even see the thing from the surface. It's no wonder he needs a trip to the beach afterwards, although the beach in question is Gemini Tay's casual PvP arena.
Why are you just...
She's
Why are you
just
just standing there?
Confidence right now is hilarious. She didn't even have to move her seat.
More of the server is expected to harass the Guardians now that Azuma Void declared an extra trophy to be given to whoever gets the most Elder Guardians killed by the chosen date. Though he may be painting a target on himself too, what with building a pillar of rising azalea trees up into the sky in the middle of the neighborhood.
You are? Yes.
Yeah, man, it's pretty distracting, isn't it?
Dude.
I'm building custom trees.
In case you noticed the beanstalk-looking structure in someone else's videos and were wondering why it's there, wonder no more. It really is useless. Originally X wanted to chop it all down at once from above, but then just left it standing to see what happens. What happens just may be that there is now a tower of azalea trees in a bunch of people's videos.
I don't know, I might leave it here until it annoys someone else and they clean it up.
Dude, this thing is visible from every base on the server.
Exactly.
In the school of farming familiar materials the weird way, Tango Tech composes a redstone farm like no other, which also may be the only fully automated lapis farm in the game. In short, Tango is taking advantage of the hero of the village effect and how villagers will throw you materials as a reward.
If I put a couple hundred clerics in there, you guys can see where this is going.
Except the usual way only returns a pitiful amount of items within the 40-minute length of the effect, whereas Tango, by automatically entering and exiting the nether in front of a pile of clerics, has cut the interval between gift givings down to 30 seconds. The birthday boy also gets a healthy supply of eggs from the process, since it's the chickens in boats that are pushing him to hell and back. And given that more villager professions than just the redstone clerics can be used in the contraption, the applications are endless, as long as no one else on the server wants to do anything.
And to get to the important part now, this is our loot so far. You can see it's almost even, I think.
The applications of Drip Leaf, on the other hand, are tragically finite. BOO excitedly runs to Tango to demonstrate that someone on Reddit had figured out how to keep Drip Leaf tilted, only for them to realize it's a client-side visual bug that doesn't show to other players on a multiplayer server.
This is a lesson in how to waste 17 diamonds.
No, it's not. No, watch.
32, I hope.
17, Jeb.
With his hopes for an innovative roof texture dashed, B-Dubs rallies magnificently and builds up 3 more silos where he plans to dry clay blocks en masse. As the owner of the raw terracotta permit and someone capable of building an Ilmango mud machine, he hopes to sell this homegrown artisan terracotta instead of having to destroy more mesa biome every time his home stock runs out. Which, as Cubfan points out when he stops by, may appeal to Good Times with Scar, who's still holding out on trading his terracotta permits away to the neighborhood.
Okay, it's on. They haven't picked a fight yet, but as soon as they try.
Oh, they're going to.
Yeah.
They're going to.
B-Dubs also lends his expertise when Impulse begins work on the Cyberpunk City Metro, which actually doubles as a parkour and obstacle course as part of the minigame focus they're bringing to the project. The basic layouts of train and tunnel come together in a time-lapse, but once B-Dubs arrives with the copper bulb knowledge, the two of them decorate for both fashion and function, leading to them using paintings as subway train ads and the best use of netherrack since Vintage Beef's farmhouse.
So much life.
It turns it alive. You see the people that did something to it, the people that graffitied it and whatnot.
Impulse adds a few extra touches to the train later and points out that when people get used to the optimal routes, there's always a chance to switch them around later and honey block some spots that weren't sticky enough before. The project is really starting to click for Impulse, ironically enough because he's just removed all the pressure plates from the city sidewalks.
Hit me up, guys. I got plenty. I mean, maybe Tango could put him in his 2 tech delay redstone shop? I mean...
More train content comes from Good Times with Scar, who is on his 5th dolphin trying to populate the aquarium car of his zoo train.
This will never get old watching the dolphins glide behind me. We literally have a flying dolphin.
While he won't be selling any sea mammals anytime soon at this rate, Scar at least finishes his sand shop, completing the terraforming arrangement of the Death Star lasering out Aunt Beru's moisture farm, sending it flying through the air. Little does he know, Scar himself will be flying off to the end of the world thanks to Doc M's glorious Farlandinator.
Oh, you can see, you know, it's loading in up there. See, it's a piston bolt.
Oh, wait, what's a piston bolt?
Smallish Beans works slowly towards fulfilling his Bottle of Enchantment permit. So far, he has one single villager selling it and a giant office building supervising him. How come the Magic Mountain logo on it is a sideways E is a little hard to explain, but we like to think it actually stands for Wagic Wountain.
Oh, Etho, I've seen you been making statues for other people other than me. What's that all about?
Oh, yeah, thank you for that, by the way. You know how awkward that was? It's like... Okay.
A bit of friendly competition never hurt anyone. But it got pretty close when Pearlescent Moon challenged Joel Beans to a netherite mining competition. The first to get enough ancient debris to convert all their gear to netherite wins, and they were pretty creative about the prizes.
I've got to, convince 3 people to buy some purple.
Yes, and...
Unfortunately, even after the triumph, they both forgot you need upgrade templates for netherite now, but fortunately for Pearl, XP Crafted came in clutch with one she could copy. The rest of Pearl's time is well spent making some edits to her base, and fortunately Joe Hills can help supply her choice of block palette. Because Joe's flattening of the Holmdel area has continued at a pace that even Etho can't keep up with, he now owes Joe something in the range of 200 diamonds, which Joe is happy to pay off in stock from Etho's other businesses like the Froglight store. Hermit Holmdel itself has some roads, pathways, and water features popping up, even though Joe is distracted by participating in the permit games with the hope of earning a lime glass permit.
You got it, why is it?
This is illegal!
It's not ending! I would like to see
Oh,
that's it!
When that gets snatched up by Etho, Joe can at least get a bit more green in his diet when Cubfan feeds him some test rockets Joe actually intends to fly around with later. And even if they're chroma keyed out, like some other green elements of Joe's stream, he'll still be able to feel them as they explode behind him. Joe tries more creative movement ideas when Grian's little game of showing up to people and asking them what doing somehow leads to them all standing on pillars ready to drop down. The goal of this experience was to find out what the fastest way to fall down is, and Joe flies like a brick with a Riptide Trident. Another miracle of aviation is Grian's mischief snails making it out of Scar's ore pile on a helicopter. There's a B-movie reference somewhere in here because according to all laws of aviation, the snails shouldn't be flying either. But then again, the laws of aviation have a lot to say on Grian never finishing his storage system, and yet here he is having built a hut with barrel floors for it anyway.
I need to show people who care about this stuff so that they appreciate the effort that I've put into this.
False Symmetry also participates in the roundish building to keep stuff in. Turns out the circle of her main base is not meant to be a single structure and actually houses a few buildings as a sort of town square, which is ironic because it's not square, it's round. In the meantime, False expands her repertoire as the river salesman by learning to animate the bubbling of a waterfall with invisible armor stands holding candles and other foamy looking elements.
What's the sea pickle doing?
Oh, I put it there and thought I'd see if
I was
you
like,
noticed.
it's got to represent something, right? What? I don't know what it is though.
All the while, somewhere across the server, Zombie Cleo is building armor stand horse memorials for Skizzleman. We get a glimpse into the further plans they have for the mysterious village Cleo is building, and it's very elevated horror. De-elevated even, with the grand monster of the piece residing for the time being in the deep mine shaft under the town. It is pretty fun how Jem and Cleo are both digging at the same Lovecraftian stuff from different ends.
So yeah, that's the point. They dug too deep and too greedily. They're not dwarves. It's just, you know, they're just human. Humans can do that too. Promise.
And finally there's Mumbo, who's done a complete 180 on Season 8's Peace, Love and Plants since becoming the owner of an item frame shop.
Farm, I'm hoping to get a piglin bartering set up at some point in the near future, but for the time being I don't have that, so it's cow killing time.
But he's promoting pacifism in other places as he de-crossbows a pillager to substitute for the zombie in a Nimbon design iron farm. The villagers are sourced from a temporary breeder on the edges of Joe Hills' Holmdel project, which also provides the packed ice road Mumbo tries using to move the villagers.
I should have seen that coming. I should have put some rails on this.
Despite the villagers being on thin ice after the hassle of getting them there, the iron farm works well enough to set up a temporary shop next to the gold store, although Mumbo's already proven he can make iconic shops selling absolutely nothing as long as your customer is Iskal.
If you remember, earlier in the episode he came over and pretended that he had a bad mic. It was all very funny. Well, 2 can play in that game.
And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP, and my name is Pixel Riffs. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here, and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.